Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and thanks for joining us in a new video in which we'll be talking about how we edit our photographs. So if you want to see how a photograph can be completely transformed, I would recommend you guys to stay tuned till the end. To give you a brief background, me and Radhika love travel and photography a lot. So to take this passion forward, we started our journey as a travel influencer in Instagram, as Instagram is a image based platform. If you haven't checked our Instagram profile, then please pause the video right now. Please check the link in the description below of our Instagram profile. Check all the photographs that has been put up over there. Show your support by following us and come back to the video. So now let's dive right into the software and show you how a photo is edited. So to start with, I will be taking any random photograph that I have in my library and will edit that.
So for editing all my photographs, I use Lightroom as a software. So I will be choosing any random photograph from my library. So I guess I will choose this one. As you guys can see, this is a raw unedited photograph which is totally underexposed. So we will start with this one. So I will click on the develop tab to start the editing process. And the first step is to do the basic corrections. So I'll go to the basic tab and start with the basic corrections. So as the photo is highly underexposed, I will increase the exposure of this photograph, and yeah, that's fine as of now, and we'll also add contrast to it. So you can always come back and make some edits in the exposure and contrast as and when required. So as of now it's proper, we'll keep it this way and move ahead with the other edits. So moving on, we will reduce the highlights of the photograph and add some shadows so that there is some depth to it. Also, as the photo is too much on the whiter side, I would prefer reducing the whites, as currently it's looking very bland. And also moving ahead, I would like to add some blacks. So I guess this is fine as of now. So we'll move ahead and increase the clarity and add some vibrance to it. We won't increase the saturation much, as increasing it will make the picture too colorful and it won't look realistic. And again, the vibrance has taken care of the color aspect of the photograph. Now I would like to try and experiment with the temperature of the photograph. I would like to add some yellow tinge to it, basically having a warmer look as it's too much on the bluer side. So now moving on to the tone curve, I would like to reduce the highlights a bit over here. I think this is fine. The lights, we will keep it as it is, and then we will add some darks. Yeah. So now we will move to shadows, wherein we will add some shadows to the picture. That's perfect. So I guess we are done with the tone curve tab. So now we will move on to the HSL, which is the abbreviation for hue, saturation and luminance, or color, or the black and white. As this is a color photograph, we will not touch upon the black and white aspect, we will focus on HSL and color. So in the start, I used to think HSL and colors are two different things, but later I realized that HSL and color are the same thing, but just a different representation of the same tool. So I prefer using color as an option for editing my photographs. So now let me explain what hue is. So hue is the tone of the color in the photograph. So for example, if blue is a major tone in the picture, then you will have different palettes of the same blue over here. So you can have on a lighter blue side or on the darker purplish side. So moving on to saturation, it decides how colorful you want a particular color to be. For example, if you have blue, you can either make it too colorful or make it less colorful. So the left hand side of the saturation bar makes the photograph black and white, and luminance decides how bright the color should be. So let's start the editing process color wise. So we'll start with orange. Now I don't think so red is a major color over here, so we'll move directly to orange. So orange is there at the peaks of the mountain where the sun rays are hitting, so we'll adjust the hue a little bit, and we'll reduce the, I guess we'll increase the saturation and keep the luminance as almost as it was earlier. So now let's move on to the yellow color tab. So let's adjust the yellow hue. I don't think so there's much of yellow in the photograph. There's only a smaller part of the photograph which has yellow, but that's fine. We'll not adjust much in the yellow. We'll move to the green tab and see if there's anything that we can change, as I don't think so there's much of greens into the picture. I guess we'll just let it be and move on to the blue tab. Over here let's try adjusting the hue. I think this is fine. The darker side of the blue looks much better. We will increase the saturation a bit. I guess this is fine as of now. We will try experimenting with luminance. We will reduce the luminance. It looks much better. So I guess this is done. I don't think so purple and magenta is there in the picture much. So basically this tab is very useful for playing with colors that are there in the photo. So let's move further to split toning. Over here you can change the colors of the highlights and shadows in the photograph. So I don't like to change it much, because if you do it too much then the realistic aspect of the photograph is lost. As there's already too much of blue into the photograph, I would like to add a yellow tinge to it. So yeah, I guess this is fine. And you can always go back and forth in the bar to see which color looks better. I guess as this is a morning shot and the sun rays are falling on the mountains, I would like to have some kind of an orange tinge on the sky. So I guess I will keep this, but let's try and experiment with if there's some other color that looks much better. No, I think I'll keep it at the previous orange only. So let's move to the shadows. You can change the color of the shadows as well. So let's see which looks better. 1 second. Yeah, I think this looks much better. As it was totally blue dominant, I have again added a tinge of yellow to it. So this looks somewhat natural. At the same time, if I go to the pinkish side, it looks unnatural, and also if I go to the orangish or the red side, it again takes away from the realistic aspect of the photograph. So we will keep it as it is as of now. So what I normally prefer to do is to keep the saturation bar at the second level and then move the hue bar to the left and right to see which color looks much better on the photograph. So with this trick you can identify and decide upon the color in a much better way. Okay, so I like this one. So over here in the detail tab I do not use this much, but if you want you can try sharpening the photo a little bit, or in case there is too much noise on the photograph you can reduce the noise by adjusting the luminance bar. But I would suggest not to do too much of noise reduction, otherwise the photograph looks too bland and faded out. So I would suggest to keep some kind of noise in the picture. So yeah, that's it. I don't use much of detail tab. Let's move on to the next tab, which is the lens correction tab. Over here I would suggest clicking on these two, as this automatically profile corrects the image. If you guys can see, if I click on this, it automatically lightens the photograph. So I would go back to the basic editing tab, and over there I would try and adjust the exposure and the contrast. So I would increase the contrast a little bit more and keep the exposure as it is, and and I would try adding some shadows and try increasing the whites if it's required, and let's see if I can add some blacks. So according to me this is fine. So let's move ahead to the transform tab. Over here I mainly use this for rotating the photograph in case it's been shot in a tilted position. So whenever you rotate the picture you need to click on constraint crop and then rotate it so that it automatically crops it. So according to me it's not required in this photograph. So what I'll do is I'll keep the rotation to 0 and remove the constraint crop. So moving on to the effects tab, over here I would always prefer to add some vignette to the photograph so that it gives a dramatic look to the photo, and also make the feather to 100, and I think I will increase the vignette a little bit more. Yeah, that's perfect. So we are done with the effects tab and we will move on to the camera calibration tab. Personally I don't use this feature much, but you can always try experimenting with the colors in this tab. You never know, you may find something that is totally outstanding than what it is right now. So you can try your hands on this. So basically I have did some minor edits in the hue of the red primary. Yeah, and I guess that's it. So now let me try experimenting with the tone curve again. I'll go back to the tone curve tab and over here I will try experimenting with the lights. I'll add some darks to the photograph. I guess that's it. Perfect.
So yeah, basically we are done with the editing of the photograph, and you can see how the before and after of both the photograph has turned out to be. There's a huge difference. So this is what the power of editing is. Any photograph anyone takes, there is a requirement of some kind of editing in each photograph. It might be underexposed, it might be overexposed. So learning to edit a photograph is an art of its own. Hope you guys found this video very helpful, and if yes, please leave a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and subscribe to the channel if you are new to the channel. And don't forget to comment in case you have any queries. I'll try answering each and every query. So see you all until the next video. Till then, take care. Bye.